Hi, everybody. I am so fortunate to be talking to Dr. Erin. She's probably like, why are you calling me Dr. Erin? But she's a doctor, okay? And she's Dr. Erin. And she told me something a few days ago that just rocked my world. And I asked her to please come on with me and just talk about her journey. Erin, do you remember what you said to me?
Yeah, I told you that for the first time, probably in my life, that I don't feel fat. I don't identify myself as fat. And that's something that I've struggled with my entire life. And it's something that, yeah, it's just something I've always battled. And for the first time, I don't feel like that anymore.
And you're almost 40, right?
Yeah, I'm going to be 40 in December. So I started, once the new year hit, I said, okay, I've got a year to go. I'm going to be 40 at the end of the year. I want to be in great shape. I want to be in the best shape I've ever been. I don't want to be fat. And so I kind of started my quest of not fat by 40. And I started it, out on my own, just working out, watching what I ate and stuff. And then in February, I started working out with Kaylin at our Northwest location, doing personal training twice a week. And that definitely helped sort of advance some things for me, kind of accelerate things that I had been doing on my own. He bought in right away to what I was trying to do, and he understood what I was trying to achieve. And he's been one of my biggest cheerleaders, and just he's been amazing. And I definitely wouldn't be where I am without him. And then we talked about nutrition and stuff like that. And then he said, when you're ready, then I think I'd like to hook you up with Sabrina, and she can maybe help get you going on your nutrition. And so in June, I started with Sabrina. And then with the combination of those two things, it's been pretty amazing. I'm really happy with the results that I've had so far. And it's a slow and steady pace, but I also realize that that slow and steady pace is something that I'm learning how to live differently, to live happy with myself, to live, have a better relationship with food. I'd say most of pretty much my 30s, like from the time I was in medical school, even before that, that's when I really kind of started taking more charge of my fitness. And so as I was getting ready to go to medical school, and then in medical school, the time that I had, and then residency. And then after that, it's kind of really where I started really focusing on it more. I actually did some outdoor boot camp with John.
My older brother.
Yeah, and that was awesome. I have one of my partners, my boss. She's one of my dearest friends, and she's been a long time Rhino member. She did outdoor boot camp for a long time, so that's how I kind of got started there, and then eventually ended up at Camp Rhino Northwest and I did a 6-week challenge. And then, I was going back and forth between two gyms. And then at the start of this year, I decided that I wanted Rhino to be my fitness home. And it was the best decision I ever made. And it's been awesome.
I'm just fascinated. I have 100 questions, but because I want to know your backstory. Little Erin, like what did little Erin dream of being when she grew up? Like you became a doctor.
Yeah.
I wanted to be a doctor when I was a little kid and I didn't become one. I want to hear about that. But also something that you said that was really important that really spoke to me is you said that the progress, you're going the slow but steady but right route. But here's the thing, February to October is how long you've been doing it. And for the first time in 40 years, you don't feel fat. And so everybody like wants it right now, but then we spend 22 years of adulthood, 40 years of our lives trying maybe shorter things and trying for a little faster. I mean, that was me. I'm speaking for myself.
No, I did the same thing. Yeah.
And then when you just yo-yo or you never quite get there, February to October seems pretty reasonable for awesome progress.
Yeah. That's why I really feel like it. I don't feel like I'm on a diet. I don't feel like this is short term. I feel like I've got the tools now to live a healthy lifestyle, and I can balance that between. In this time, I took a trip home to see my family. I was home for almost 2 weeks. Normally when I go home, I come back and the scale's definitely riding a little heavier. I stayed pretty consistent. So my whole goal was to maintain, and that's pretty much what I did. And I didn't stop myself. If I wanted something, I had it, but I was just smarter about it. I made just better decisions because I know from what Sabrina's taught me from nutrition wise, like I can still enjoy food. I just need to make a little bit smarter choices. And so I was able to do that and still feel happy and satisfied. And I had a great time. And then I just went to Napa in September and I was there for 5 days and we did quite a bit of wine drinking. And again, I came back, I was only a pound heavier. And then in my next check-in after that, I had dropped that plus some. So I just feel like this is now the way I'm going to live my life, rather than this is just a short-term process to get me to a goal. And then I would have spent a lot of time and money to just eventually go right back to where I was. And I don't see that happening this time. And I did the same thing, tried all the gimmicks, all the different things, and yo-yoed up and down, and you end up heavier than when you started. And all of that really kind of caused me to be pretty unhappy. I've been pretty unhappy for a long time, and it was mostly because I was unhappy with myself. It had nothing to do with external factors. It was just how I looked at myself, and I didn't like what I saw when I looked in the mirror. And I tied a lot of my happiness to the way that I looked and my self-confidence. And people tell me that I'm funny. I think I'm fairly good sense of humor, but I also think I've used humor as a defense mechanism, because if they're paying attention to stuff I'm saying, then they're not paying attention to the way that I look. And yeah, it's crazy, but it took a pandemic and a quarantine for me to sit back and really take a look at things and reprioritize things. And I'm as happy now as I've ever been.
And it sounds like you went through an entire transformation. It's not just about not feeling fat for the first time in your life, but there's a complete mind, body, and soul transformation. And I have to tell you, we're building something called the Rhino Command System, and it's built off of you are the number one person that we're building it off of. No joke. And we're also
no pressure.
No, you've already done it. You've already done it. It's what was happening with Erin in her first few weeks, what was happening with Erin in her second few weeks, what milestones and achievements should be celebrated in this journey, because you figured out that you needed a personal trainer, and you needed not just any nutritionist, but a nutritionist who like, there are so many different nutritionists, and Sabrina just makes you feel okay. Yeah. And she lets you know it's going to be okay, and you can live your life and you can have a great life, and you don't have to be perfect, and we're going to figure out a lifetime thing, and there's no supplements pushed. And so it's very different, but you kind of like, Kaylin had to help you figure that out, right? He's the one that told you to hire Sabrina. And so that clicked inside our heads. We're like, but we're like, we need to really lay this out. What does the year of a rhino look like? And what awards should you have gotten as you were ascending? And you made it anyways without that. But does that sound like something cool to you? Like, for people, like, this is what you celebrate at this stage. We're not just trying to get to the end, but at this stage, this is what we celebrate.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's so important every little victory should be a big deal in that moment, whether it's you lost a pound or you did all your meal preps. Finally, you've been trying to do it and you finally got it done, or you made it to the gym 3 days a week all month, or whatever your goal is that, and you PR'd a lift, like whatever those things may be, like celebrate them because they're a big deal. And it makes it easier to do that slow and steady pace to get to the end goal. Because I could have probably done some extreme things and been miserable, and I probably could actually have a lower number on the scale right now if I had done it that way. But my body for sure wouldn't have changed the way that it has, and my mindset and my just physically, mentally, emotionally, I am a much happier person. I am in a much better place than I've ever been, ever. And it's come over time, but I finally started prioritizing me. I spent so long worrying about everybody else, and if somebody needs something, I'd drop everything at the drop of a hat. I'd stop everything I was doing, even if it was detrimental to me, because well, someone needs me, and so I need to go and do these things. And not to say that I am not there for the people that I love and care about, but I have to put me first, because if I don't put me first, there's no one that's going to. And once I realized that, and I finally, again, it took almost 40 years to do it. Once I realized that if I put myself first and I work on me and I make me happier, it's going to make the relationships with the people in my life better. It's going to make, I'm going to be happier at work. I'm going to be happier in all the aspects of my life. And that's, I mean, I'm sure that some people may listen to this and say, it just sounds like a little too feel goody, but this is as honest as I can be about it. I mean, this is truly how it's been for me. And like I said, I'd say Kalen is my absolute number one cheerleader, and he guided me through this. He didn't push me to the nutrition. He just kind of made suggestions. And I was like, one day I said, hey, I'm going to call Sabrina. Can you give me her number? I'm going to go ahead and do it. He didn't push me to do it. I came to it on my own, talking to him, and he was doing it himself. He goes to see Sabrina, and he's on the nutrition plan, and I've seen the transformations that he made and the struggles that he's had, as well as the triumphs that he's had. And so it was that sold it for me. It wasn't him pushing me or anything. It was just him guiding me, mentoring me through this process. And yeah, and then I went to Sabrina, and now I feel like I have Superman and Wonder Woman like in my corner helping me through this. And yeah, they've been just amazing. And I don't think I could have done it on my own, but I think that once my time with them sort of comes to an end, or where I think I'm at a point that, okay, now I can continue this on my own, but I couldn't have done it without their help first.
I love that. Even coaches have coaches, and the best coaches have coaches. And yeah. I didn't understand the value of mentoring and coaching until recently. And I just hired Sabrina to go be her client as well, yeah. Actually. And I'm proud of you for seeking it out and for getting the help. And that's kind of what we want to do. We want to have a mentoring program. So it's if you need personal training, then that conversation can come up, kind of like it did with Kalen to get nutrition. And I'm really passionate about working on the mindset part of everything and celebrating the wins and the victories, so that the journey is just as fun. And it was fun, yeah. Because you actually went through this process. It just didn't have a name yet. You know, it's kind of what we've always done. But the main difference is there was no award, and celebration from Camp Rhino as a whole, yeah. When you achieved the milestones in between. And I think that's the important thing that we were missing, that I can't wait to do. So can you just tell me a little bit about you growing up, what were your dreams? And the reason I ask is because I remember a stark time in my life where I was like, oh my goodness, this is where I'm at. And I just remember being miserable and thinking I expected to be somebody awesome, not this person. And that's what started my weight loss and fitness journey. And I just want to hear from you what yours was.
So I'm one of those fortunate ones that from the time I was a kid, and my parents could probably tell you better what age, I said I wanted to be a pediatrician. And it just kind of was always my dream. It was always just what I thought I needed to do and what I wanted to do. And so I went to undergrad. I started out as pre-med, and at the time I wasn't ready to make that commitment. I wasn't ready to make that decision. I think we put a lot of pressure on 17, 18-year-old kids to figure out their life mission. And what you want to do at 17 isn't always what you want to do at 40. And so I kind of changed gears for a bit, and I got a degree in psychology because I took some classes and I got good grades in them. So I said, okay, I'll do this. And I thought, okay, well, maybe if I don't go to medical school, I'll get a PhD or something. I'll still be a doctor. And I worked, and then it kind of hit me like, oh, you dope. You do want to be a doctor. So I went back to school, and I kind of sort of quit everything I was doing, went back to school. I moved in with my grandmother. I worked for my cousin, and I applied, and I got into medical school, fortunately, and that's it. And then I went, and time though, all through that time, I was overweight. I was the chubby kid. And all through that time, despite going after that dream and achieving it, and I really felt bad for the people graduating medical school this year. They didn't get to have that experience. Like, I dreamed about what it would be like that day to cross that stage, and it was amazing. My parents were there, my sisters were there, one of my grandmothers. It was just an amazing thing. And but despite that happiness and achieving that, there was still always this undertone of just, I wasn't totally happy because I wasn't happy with myself. And that's something that I've struggled with my entire adult life, but hopefully that's not an issue anymore.
No.
Yeah, that's kind of how I ended up here. That's the shortened version of how I ended up here.
How old were you when you went back to school?
Let's see, I was probably around, I left to go to medical school in 2006. So I was turning 26 that year, and I had taken classes. So probably like around 23, 24
Got it.
was when I like quit my job, moved home, and I had 2 more prerequisites to take. So I took those classes, and then I applied. And then,
Wow.
yeah, it was in August of 2006 that I went. So I was not quite 26 at the time.
I think there's a lot of us that we reach goals that we had. I started my business at 17, and I had all of these goals and these dreams, and very similar. Everything that I achieved, there was still just this shadow. There was a shadow in every conversation that I had. And for those of you guys that don't know, sorry, I lost 65 pounds, et cetera, et cetera. That's why I own the gyms. That's why I'm fascinated talking to Erin, because what she's achieved is just absolutely amazing. And I actually backslid during quarantine, and I'm signed up with Sabrina because I actually want to get to Erin's level that she's at right now, because right now my addictions have come back. Like, I'm better than I've ever been when I backslide, but there's some work to do. And so there would always be a shadow. Like, every conversation I would have, if I was in a group of people and everybody was talking, even if I had something to say, I felt like what I had to say wasn't as valuable because of how I felt about myself.
Yeah, I get that. And I don't even know if in certain instances I realized how much that it affected me and it affected my relationships. It's been probably more in the last year or two that I've kind of sort of come to those realizations. When you're in the moment, sometimes it's a little harder. It's when you kind of go back and look, and so I get it. I understand like how that feels, and it's not a good feeling. And I'm hoping a feeling I'll never have to really kind of deal with again. I don't ever want to be so unhappy just because of the way I've let myself go, or however you want to say it, or whatnot. I want to feel good about myself. And because if I feel good about myself, I think it's gonna, like I said, it's just gonna make all aspects of my life better. And not that I don't want it to come across as, oh, well, in order to be happy, you have to be thin. Because if anyone that knows me, if you could see my whole self, like, I'm not a thin person. No one's ever gonna look at me and be like, well, she's skinny. But I want to be fit. I want to be healthy. And so I know it's important, especially with young girls and women. I don't want the message to seem like, oh, well, I was unhappy because I wasn't thin, but now that I'm thin, I'm happy. Because that's not at all the case, because I found that happiness 20 pounds ago. It was more a mindset of just changing the way I looked at things, and like I said, reprioritizing things and putting me first. And that's when I found happiness. And I said, okay, well, now I can go out and achieve what it is that I want. I can get better in the gym. I can like the way my clothes fit better. I can have more options to shop. I told my sister yesterday, I said, well, now that I'm losing weight and I'm pretty sure it's going to stay off, I can try to be more fashionable. I have more clothes options, because she's pretty fashionable. I'm pretty much a fan of rocking the gym clothes and scrubs. So just little things like that. Again, it has nothing to, it's not to say that you can't be happy anyway, but you just have to be happy with how you are. And I just wasn't happy with how I was.
Thank you for bringing that up, because I should clarify, when I lost my weight, I still didn't love myself. I didn't love myself until recently. And I've been, my terms, fat and skinny many times over. And there was no difference really in the love for myself. And that comes out in a lot of different ways, and I don't want to tell on my past self too much and be too hard on my past self. But all I can say is, you were talking about giving yourself. I used to identify as a martyr, like for my gyms, for my business, for my employees. Like I would give and give and give and give and give. And honestly, I felt kind of pooped on a lot. I'd be like, I did this and I did this and I did this. And then they would be mad at me for no reason, like things like that would come out of my mouth. And now that I am taking care of myself first, like you mentioned, the amount of love that I have now, even 19 pounds up, I don't care. I love myself, and I have love for everybody else. And I'm going to see Sabrina just because I'm like, well, I want to. I just want to. I want to have her coach me. I want to see if there's one little tweak that I can make where I still am enjoying food the same amount, but I can make this one little tweak that just makes a difference, right? I want to coach, I want to mentor. But the love that we feel when we take care of ourselves first makes it so that every conversation is more beneficial to the people we're talking to. Every time we're present. And so we actually, for me, I feel like I'm spreading more love and happiness now, even if I'm not like sacrificing 16 hours a day for other people, right?
Like, no, absolutely. Because it took me again a long time to realize if you can't be happy with yourself, you can't really be as present for other people as you might think you are. And so I get it. You can give less time, but still give more.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily about the amount of time you're giving, but it's the quality of time that you're giving. And when you're happier with yourself, is what I've found, is the quality of help or care or advice or just being a shoulder or whatever it may be for the people around me, that quality is so much better because I'm just so much better inside and in my head. And I just wish I figured it out a tad bit sooner, but
me too. Me too. But that's why I kind of finally figured out the role in the gym, my role in the gym, because I'm not a coach anymore. My coaches know way more about fitness and nutrition than I know right now. Like I've forgotten most of it. I used to be, but I'm not anymore. And then when I realized that for the first time, I have this love for myself, and I've been reading mindset books and I've been taking courses I'm like, oh, I get to be the mindset girl. And so for our new Rhino Command system, I'm like, guys, obviously there's mindset and everything. Kaylin, you guys have talked about mindset. You and Sabrina have talked about mindset, but I want like that to be like the thing that I take and just research and bring to the table and make videos on and have chats about, because I want everybody to be able to feel the way that you and I feel right now, especially knowing how bad it feels to not. And I am going to tell you how it used to come up. When I didn't love myself, I used to be jealous, and I used to take things the wrong way. Like it's hard to explain, but I guess it's insecurity. I guess. I mean, not loving yourself is insecurity.
I think I 100% understand what you're trying to say. I think I've experienced the same kind of things, and I think they're just coping mechanisms. Like it's just figuring out you're just trying to get through. I don't know, but I get it. I get what you're trying to say.
And now it's like, I want everybody around me to be successful. I want everybody to just be their best possible selves. And I haven't felt a shred of jealousy or anything. Like when I see another girl looking any kind of way, it either motivates me or I'm like, yeah, you go, girl. And then if a girl at the gym is like just lifting a bunch of weight, and then somehow and she just looks like this perfect girl and she's lifting like way more than me. Like back in the day, it wasn't that I wished any ill upon them, but that made me feel bad about myself. Oh, I'm not there. And, oh, I
Yeah.
can't dedicate X, Y, and Z time like that. You make these excuses. And now I see success all around me and I'm just happy for it because I love myself. And so a little bit of a tangent there, but I think it's just so important that just to know that all of this can stem from taking that first step of taking care of yourself in the right way, not starving yourself, restricting yourself, not putting unrealistic expectations on ourselves. Like I used to do these extreme challenges and things like that because mentally I was so upset mentally that I would just go and wreck my body. And like those things like temporarily were a little bit of a, but long term it wasn't helpful, and long term self-care. And if you guys are listening and you've heard all this before and you're like, yeah, like there will be a day. There will be a day, and it's okay. Take all the time you need, but there will be a day when you're like, I get it. This is the best day ever. And so I'm looking forward to that day for everybody that's listening.
Yeah, for sure. I've had a few people, which this has kind of really been like, I guess the ultimate in compliments. And it was John, your brother, for everyone that doesn't know, that kind of said it in that way. And I was like, oh yeah, like I've had people say, oh, wow, you look great. What are you doing? And then they've turned around and come to Camp Rhino just to do our nutrition program. I mean, there are like, I've signed up like 4 people that have signed up like simply because of that. And John, that's really the ultimate compliment, because not only are they like, oh, what are you doing? You look great. They're like, oh, I'm going to now spend my money to do the same thing that you're doing because I think what you're doing seems like a good idea. Which I didn't really think of it that way, but once he said it, I was like, oh yeah, I guess that it kind of is. It does feel good. And so I am like all about and happy like to spread the Rhino love around, and just anyone that's willing to listen, anyone that will listen to me, I will tell them, what I've been doing and why I'm doing it and why I believe in it so much. And it's, if a couple people, if it makes a couple people be like, oh, hey, not even about signing up, but to make a couple people think twice or change their own mindset, then hey, that's pretty cool. Because there's been people in my life that I've kind of looked to that have sort of inspired me to sort of, we'll say, take the Rhino by the horn and and make these changes and go down this path. If I get to be that for someone else, then that's pretty cool. And I guess, yeah, you just, like I said earlier, you guys celebrate those little victories and don't beat yourself up too much for the setbacks, because they're going to happen. And that's what's great about Kaylin and Sabrina, is they kind of talk me through it when something like that happens. And okay, well, don't focus on that. We're going to do this, this, and this, and that's going to turn things around and put them back in the right direction. And so that's been super helpful too. So I would definitely recommend try not to get too down on yourself, because I think we all do a pretty good job. We're our own worst critics for the most part. And so don't let yourself like take you out of the game, because we're in it for the long haul. And don't wait till hopefully there's some people that are going to listen to this who are not 40. Don't wait till you're 40 to get here. Try and find it earlier. Whatever your journey may be, it may be completely different than mine, but just try to find it earlier if you can. That's would be my biggest recommendation to people, because I sure wish I had.
Yeah, and like she said, we have our whole lives, guys. Like that's the important thing, is I used to just have this really tough thing because I knew that one meal or one time exercising wasn't really going to do anything. And that would mess with me so bad, because I'm like, well, I'm just going to enjoy this, or I'm just going to not exercise, because that was so tough for me to just get the consistency, because I just knew that just one didn't really make a difference, but it's 1 + 1 + 1 + 1 + 1. And thinking about, hey, we have the rest of our lives, so let's try things. Let's get a coach. Let's get a mentor. Let's see what works for us. See what we like. See what we don't like. And you love your life right now, right? Like you love the food that you're eating. You love the exercise that you're doing. And before we wrap up, I had a really important question for you. I want everybody listening to know that it's normal to have obstacles. And can you tell me, so in February of your 39th year, you finally started on your forever path, right? What were the obstacles before February of 39, right? What were the obstacles that happened before that kept you from getting here? And then how did you overcome them?
I think I don't even know if I'd call them obstacles so much as excuses, because you can say money, but I have the same job now that I had 2 years ago, 7 years ago, in fact. So that didn't really change a whole lot. Okay, maybe I make a little more money now than I did 7 years ago, but still had a good job this whole time. I don't have a too tough of a work schedule, so it's not like I can't put the time in. And it was, I think like I said, I think for me it's there. It was more, it's just more excuses. Oh, I don't want to spend the money. I don't have time, or, well, whatever. Everyone, I don't care. I just want to eat this, or I just want to do this, or whatever. And it was more that, I think, than anything else, because, and I'll be honest, I don't have kids, so I don't have that time commitment. I don't have those responsibilities. I'm responsible to myself. I have 2 dogs, so I'm responsible to keep them alive and happy. Beyond that, besides my job, everything else that I do in my life is completely at my own choice. And so I just, I think as that number started to get closer, that 40, gosh, when you're a kid, you think 40 is so old. And now I'm like, oh gosh, guess it's not that old. I hope it's not that old. So I think as that number kind of started to creep up, and the reality of that, I basically set that goal, and I just put the excuses aside and said, okay, no more excuses. You have a year to do this. Like I said, I kind of tried to start it out the year on my own, but then I'm like, no, okay, you're going to need some help to get you where you want to be. You're going to need some help. And then that's when I started, and that's when I got the help from Kaylin, and then eventually Sabrina. And so, and I'm sure there are people out there with obstacles and that I can't understand, but for the people who just have the excuses, you just eventually have to come to the point where the desire to change is stronger than your excuses, and just go out and get it. You probably have an hour somewhere in your day that you can work out. If you really think about it, you probably have a little bit of time to maybe spend making some meal prep stuff and things like that to help with your nutrition. It's just a matter of finding that time, scheduling that time. And again, I am not preaching, like I know better than you, because it's taken me a really long time, and it's still something that I'm gonna have to deal with forever. But I'll tell you that once you figure it out, it feels really good. And it's not even just that the number on the scale is getting lower like that. It just feels really good to take control of your life, to go after what you want, and to be happy, and to prioritize yourself. Like, even for those people out there that are parents and stuff, like, I tell my patients' parents when the kids are in the hospital for a long time, like, you got to get out of here. You have to focus on you for a minute, because you are no good to anybody else, especially your sick child, if you don't take a little bit of you time. And so, I mean, I think that's so important. For sure, it's so much easier for me to take me time than it is for a mom of 2, 3, 4, 5 kids, whatever, or a dad, whatever the cases may be. But if you just take that little bit of you time, you're going to be that much better for those kids, for your spouse, for your family, whoever it may be. So again, definitely not trying to preach or act like I have all the answers, because I for sure don't. And it's been a process, but I feel like I have control now, and that I know what to do. And I just want a little bit more help, a little bit longer. And then we're going to cut the cord and let me go out on my own. And I think I have the tools to be successful now, and stay happy. I don't ever want to get back to where I was. And I don't mean physically, I mean emotionally and mentally. Unfortunately for me, Camp Rhino it's my church, it's my therapy, it's, my sounding board, it's where I go to really stress, stuff like that. It's all of those things for me. Other people find those things in different places, and that's good. I'm just fortunate that I was able to find it all in one. So
I love that. You hit the nail on the head, having control. And I always felt out of control. And I also felt like I didn't even know if what I wanted was possible, which I think that's what stops a lot of us. We're like, okay, if I go and do it, I've exercised before, I've been on diets before, and you feel like for me, there's this little shadow of a doubt that it was even possible, which is why we need the coach. And I love what you said. You're in control now. And our new Rhino Command system, literally, you can ask the coaches, you are the name that I said, I'm like, we're building this off of what she was able to do, like what you were already able to do, because we want to give people command over their bodies once and for all. And we want to do it like we're kind of mapping out a year. Some people will do it faster, some people will take longer. But the idea is that once you graduate, you have command over your body, which means you have command over your mind and your spirit and your energy and the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Like that is the whole goal. And hearing you say that you feel in control and you're almost there, you're like, I'm just going for a little while longer and then I will have the tools to do it on my own. Honestly, that's our dream. That's what we want, because yeah, that's what we want. So you're amazing. Erin, if you have anything more to add, I don't want to cut this off if you have anything else you want to tell people, but this has been beautiful and you're an inspiration to me. Like, I'm going and I'm going to do Sabrina's thing because you inspired me. So big time congratulations. And this is your graduation ceremony for loving yourself.
Right? Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I am extremely humbled, for one, to be someone to inspire you, because I just look at all the things that you've done and all the things you've accomplished, and for me to be an inspiration to you on this kind of a journey just is like mind blowing to me. And I'm extremely humbled that you guys as a gym, as a company, would pick me, like me of all people, to base and model something like that off of. I mean, I can't. Yeah, that's not anything I ever would have imagined, that I'd be the benchmark, I guess, or I don't know if that's the right word,
Yeah.
but for something like that, I don't even know what to say about it, because that's crazy to me. But I hope that maybe that my struggles, someone else can relate to and see that it's possible and take those steps on that journey. But I'm kind of blown away that, yeah, that's crazy.
It was, they're coming to my house for 10 hours this Saturday. And we've been building it up. We've been talking on Zoom calls, and we were just like, who has just done all the things and claimed command? Like that was the terminology. And who's on the road to claiming command once and for all? And it was you. And yeah, so it was just kind of cool. And of course, Kalen is obviously, he's one of the people that's building it, and he was your coach. So
Yeah.
that's another thing.
Yeah.
And then Sabrina's helping build it too. And you were coached by both of them. But the part that struck me was when we were talking months ago, and I was telling you my goal is to enjoy my life and feel good about myself inside and out. And at that point, I don't know if you were where you are today. And I didn't get there, and you did. Like, here you are months later, you're where I was trying to get to. And, to me, the main difference is that you had mentoring. And I was trying to do it by myself because, I've been the owner of the gym for 16 years. I know exactly what I should do. I just need to do it. Yeah. We all need a mentor. We all need a coach.
Yeah. No, for sure. I obviously gave a lot of props to Kaylin and Sabrina, but I mean, all of the coaches, everyone's been amazing. John and Brent, and I did Adrian's running program, and that was like so amazing and changing for me. Derek's been all of them. And I mean, Dakota and Jathan down at HQ. I mean, they've all been supportive, and I've gotten to know some of the HQ coaches a little bit now. And so it's everybody. I don't want to not give credit to those other people, because Whitney, everybody's just been amazing and supportive, and our members too are awesome. And I feel like everyone's super supportive of each other. I've had a lot of people say really nice things to me that I don't even know, that I don't really know well and stuff. And so it's just a really supportive and helpful environment. So while I've given a lot of the props to Kaylin and Sabrina, I don't want to take away from the fact that the rest of the staff and coaches and our members have been so awesome and amazing too. And so I would be remiss not to mention that, because it takes a village. And I have 2 village leaders, but it's the rest of the village is just as important. And so I just wanted to make sure that I at least said that, because I think credit should be given where credit's due, and they've all been a big part of it too.
I really appreciate that. We have our dream team, and they just continue their education like almost on a daily basis, right? And then there's 21 of them. They are all spectacular. And so all I have to do, and it's kind of a lot of pressure, is I just have to bring them together. And that's what I'm doing at my house. Okay, let's brainstorm. Every single one of them has changed lives, right? You just happen to be the person that just reached the goal that we're trying to help everyone reach. And you did it in like just this magical way. And so you're our person that we're modeling. But every coach has had clients that they've helped, and they're going to bring all their experience to the table. And I've always been a dreamer. Like I've always felt, oh, I want to be president one day. And then I hit 35 and I'm like, okay, I can be president right now, but I don't think that's what I should be trying to do with my life. Like I have something else. There's another purpose. And now my purpose really is to help people claim command over their bodies, because it's a great starting point to have happy rest of your lives and have a happy life and have a happy spirit. And if we can spread something like this worldwide, something that's wholesome and good, and it's not just pushing supplements, and it's not just, oh, sign up for this challenge, it's only $27 and then you never look at it, or get this app and you use it for 2 weeks and then you're just paying $10 a month, like something that's that people could be a part of a greater community and inspire. So how many people have signed up because you got them to sign up, and then the effect of each one of those people, it's going to be a massive impact, just your story alone, not to mention you jumping on here, talking to me, like the impact of one person. And that's what I'm thinking of. Okay, if I can have a program that helps thousands of people, and then each of those people inspires all these other people, like it could change the world.
Yeah.
Like that's where my head, I'm always in the clouds, but that's where I'm at right now.
Okay. The sky's the limit, right? I mean, why? It can't happen if you don't try. So what's to say we can't change the world, right?
Yeah, that's perfect. We got to end it right now. Who's to say we can't change the world? Guys, love you all. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you, Erin, for Dr. Erin, for being here. I like to call you Dr. Erin because you're my friend, and it makes me, feel like I have really awesome friends.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Bye, everyone.